You tired? Alright, well let's go further up. Humans have cut all this and just left it all lying. Kind of mars the face of the ground. I mean, if you to come through here before there were people here, it would just be a paradise. Probably a lot of different species would still be alive. You'd see buffaloes and, you know, animals that they've already killed that you don't ever see anymore. They say that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs, but I suspect it was humans. Because if we overpopulated the world and started building cities and tearing down the rainforest, then there wouldn't be any food for those big animals. And it would just be the smaller animals that could survive. See that dog jump? I wonder if there was a snake up there or something. He jumped out of the way. Here comes a helicopter. Can't go anywhere without some huge helicopter flying overhead. Probably military. We're in a militarized state under martial law. They're not shooting at us yet, but they will be. They'll be demanding that we stay away from the resources. That doesn't belong to you, that's government land. Okay, so where does the people get to go? Well, you get to go in a FEMA camp. That's what's gonna happen, guys. It's already happening. You can't go and walk around anywhere you want on public lands. Camp, use it, take the resources. Who gets the resources? Oh, that's oil companies. That's for everybody. No, it's not. We're paying for the oil, and they're making billions. And it's our resources. Okay. You ready? Ready, Freddies? See where this goes. I was hoping we'd have a view from up here. Just a lot of rock here. Same kind of thing that we had in Oklahoma. A lot of rock. There's more hickories and walnuts and stuff here though. It's everywhere. Walnuts all over the ground. Arkansas has a lot too. And parts of Oklahoma do too, but a lot of Oklahoma is mostly oaks. Oh my goodness, guys. I sure like that water. Well, they're hot. Oh, they'll drink muddy water, whatever. That's weird. I don't know how they filter all that out. They get plenty of minerals, I guess. I wonder if humans are supposed to... I don't think we could drink that kind of muddy water. Maybe that's the problem with humans. We're not drinking muddy water. I'm sure that's part of our problem. We don't get spring water. There's minerals in the water. drinking that tap water, and I don't think a lot of people even realize, they don't think they're drinking it, but they're putting that tap water into the coffee pot, the coffee maker, and drinking coffee with fluoride in it. They're mixing it in their tea. They're putting it in their food. You know, if you're going to put a bowl of soup or something, you're going to make soup, you're going to fill it up with water from the sink. You don't think anything of it. But people are drinking that fluoride, and, you know, that's what the Nazis did. They started it. Everything that we're doing, they started it. They started putting that in the water so that it would dumb people down. And boy, howdy, are we dumbed down. Well, I'm not going to go downhill too far. Let's see where this goes. Nice little trail though, and we luck out. Yeah, maybe we'll see an animal or something, some wildlife, something interesting, something special. Some nice little loblollies, or whatever they call them in this neck of the woods. I think they cut most of them out. I think they've been logging in here. They cut all the pines out. And just left all the hardwood. Or maybe they took some of the hardwood. I don't know if they use that hardwood that much for materials. You know, people use mostly pine and fir and stuff from Canada and all that up there. It's like you could polish that. I don't know what they call it, mountain rock, but once you polish it, it's like kind of like marble or granite or something, I guess. I don't know, but it polishes up real nice. A lot of these rocks you see at the rock store, they tumble them, put them in a tumbler and polish them, and they turn out all kinds of beautiful colors. I think it's almost prettier than diamonds and rubies in a lot of ways. The ring I'm wearing, I bought the other day, was like really inexpensive. It's just sterling silver, but nowadays I don't think I could afford gold. And it's just a fossil instead of a stone. It's a beautiful fossil that's polished, and you can see like a little seashell fossilized into it, and it's just beautiful. I got it the other day because I had one years and years and years ago that I really loved, and I ended up losing it. So this one kind of reminded me of it. The other one was tiger eye though, which I like those as well, but you know, people ask the question, is it over? We're going to heaven now? And that's it? And we just sit up on a cloud for the rest of eternity? That would get kind of boring, wouldn't it? Just sit up on a cloud. It might be beautiful up there. Absolutely stunningly beautiful up there on a cloud, right? But even there, on a cloud, even if you had a lazy boy chair and somebody brought you beer and wine and whiskey, of course, you'd probably get sick. Of course, I guess you don't get sick in heaven, right? You just live forever and drink whiskey all the time. But see, that's it. It doesn't make sense, does it? Nothing really makes sense, except that the world is negative and positive and always will be. I just think that we get to a place where we overcome the ignorance and we realize that the world is negative and positive, and we build, you know, we devise a way to overcome the negative forces, but we're always having to deal with them. We will forever. But I was looking at my dogs, and I was looking at them, I was thinking, well, how long is it going to take them to become human if they're evolving? And I truly believe that the Bible teaches reincarnation. Ooh, look at this. And I was thinking, well, if we're going to go to heaven, and the earth's going to be burned up, and it's just going to be gone, you know, bye-bye earth. That was just a temporary classroom. Now we're going to heaven. Now, no more earth. And what happens to my puppies? There must be a place for them to continue to grow in knowledge and in grace until they too could become like us, knowing good and evil, and to attain unto their crown and get their white robes. I know that they will. I absolutely love them, and I know if my Father in heaven and my divine mother is love, then they must have more love than me, you know. And if I were in charge, I would make a system just like our Heavenly Father did. A system where they got plenty of time to overcome this world. Maybe even millions of years, as long as it takes, you know. And they'll eventually achieve everlasting life as well. But that means the earth has got to stay here even after we go to heaven. And I suppose we're going to be here with them. I kind of think heaven is the earth on the top side of the wheel in a better age, ruled over by better deities, you know. True deity, one who's our Father and our Divine Mother, who is love. But it's a beautiful little canyon down here, valley, whatever. I'm in northern Alabama, and there's definitely mountains here. It's really pretty. It's just as pretty as any place I've ever been, really. Lovely. I really didn't have any idea it was so pretty in Alabama and Georgia. I mean, I'd been here before, but I never went out into the mountains and looked around and stuff. You know. But yeah, I'm sure that the earth is going to remain. And, you know, just like the earth that then was destroyed by water, as it says. So too, the earth that is now is reserved unto fire. But there were 8 saved in a boat through the water. The new beginnings, 8. They started over, I guess. Now we're going to have 144,000. So that's 9. I guess that's the end of the road for the physical. And now we're going to be more spiritual. But there's some people that aren't going to be quite ready at this point, and the rest of the dead won't come to life to the end of the 1,000 years, and then the devil's loose again. So I think it is cycles, but I think we don't go round and round and come back to the same spot. I think it's like a corkscrew, just like DNA. It continues to. I think our DNA just looks small, like there's only so many activation points that we think are on there. Like, I don't know how many millions. It controls all the parts and growths of your body. But I think that just like the light spectrum, we can only see to ultraviolet light, and beyond that we can't see beyond our spectrum of visual light. So I'm sure that our DNA goes, the strand goes it's much longer. It goes all the way into areas, you know, like the elements get up into the place where it's like air and helium. You can't see that. It's invisible. And then it goes all the way into the light. And evidently it's the light that activates the lower forms to open up and become beautiful. And if that light doesn't get all the way down through the chain and reach to the below into the forms, the form doesn't open up correctly, and that's what we call deformed. You know, when like some people haven't reached their potential, they didn't grow as much as they should have. Maybe their spine was a bit twisted, or you know, they didn't have as good as eyesight, or you know, something's not opened and perfectly reached its potential. But one day I think we will receive our bodies that are perfectly formed. Everybody will be like a beautiful crystal, and everybody will have we've all gone through the fire, and so we'll, you know, depends on what metal we started out with. Gold is one type of metal that creates a certain type of crystal, a form, when it's heated up and it forms crystals, or lead, or zinc, or copper, or whatever particular metals you start with. They're all, once they're put in the fire, the dross comes off and they make these beautiful forms. And the hardest, what we think is the most valuable, is diamond, which is clear, which is beautiful, very beautiful, pure. We call purity. But some of the other crystals are like rubies and garnet or sapphire, whatever. They're just as beautiful, even more beautiful. They've got beautiful colors. So it's like when people go through a lot of terrible things in their life, just think of it as you are going through the fire, and you're being formed. You're getting a personality that's going to be unique. The faceted crystals is going to be fascinating when you're done. You are going to get a body that is unique to you and is so beautiful and stunning when it's finished that you won't even know how to receive all the joy that will bubble up from your innermost being. The potential, it never ends, because once you perfect that end of the spectrum, then you move on to a higher dimension, and the dimensions are infinite. There are little atoms inside of the earth, and the earth is a little round force ball that's spinning around the solar system, and that's inside the galaxy. And I'm sure the galaxy, if we could get back and look at it, we'd see that it's part of a much bigger thing. We'll get there one day. We'll get there. I know it. But I do think that we have a certain time that we have to be in this dimension. I bet it's a 24,000 year period. It might be something like 25 or 26,000. A little bit like the 70 is rounded off from the 72. There's even a 13th month instead of always just 12. In other words, it's a little bit more because they're just rounding the numbers off. 360 degrees rather than 365. I was looking at my posture. If you guys watch my videos, you'll see as I turn around and I'm writing on the whiteboard, you'll notice that my posture isn't very good. It never was. I think it's the stress that I went through in life, and most of us have that. It's difficult to have good posture. Some people do. And I was looking at some, like chiropractors on YouTube. There's quite a few videos where they're popping people's backs and spines, and this one person walked in there, it was all twisted up and he was going to literally die. And all the doctors said he's going to die. There's nothing to do because he's gotten so bad that his back was like scoliosis or whatever, but it had curled around to where his organs had no more room and he couldn't breathe. And he was really days away from dying. We took him to his chiropractor to see if he could get any relief. And first treatments, he was able to breathe better, and then kept working with him. No surgeries or anything, just chiropractic and massages and stuff. And he had that young man standing straight. The kid couldn't walk. He was bedridden and he was dying. He was up straight, walking straight, and was able to live his life out. And yet the doctors didn't understand. They have no clue that, I think this is a little bit where people get, in yoga, where they sit and they learn to have a sitting position where they can breathe. But people have turned that into some sort of religious experience. And it really is a religious experience. It's life. We're supposed to have good posture all the time. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't walk. It's that when we sit, we ought to sit straight and breathe properly. And be conscious of every moment and all of our thoughts and keep them all in subjection to Christ. That's all true, but it's not a religious ritual as people have made it out to be. It is a way of life. And I don't think I understood that when I was younger at all. And the stress of everything, my faith failed me, and I began to have fear. And of course there's torment in fear, but there is no fear in love. When my Father, my Heavenly Father, came and told me he loved me, that happened to me when I was about 22 years old. I was laying in my room and, I had just been thrown out of the witnesses and was struggling and didn't know what to do. My whole family wouldn't talk to me, and I just felt like hopeless. And I was laying in bed one night and I prayed to the Lord. I asked him, I said, Father, if you love me, please make the light on the porch go out. And I fell asleep praying, kind of in and out of prayer, for an hour or two, and then kind of opened my eyes again in the middle of the night and woke up again, trying to pray, and I noticed it on the porch outside the window. The porch light was going off and on, which is what I'd asked the Lord to do if he loved me. But I didn't think about going on and off. I just said, make it go off. Well, it went, or make it go on, I guess. Can't remember, it's been so many years ago, but anyway, it came on and off, and wouldn't stop. And it didn't matter if you turned the switch up or down, it just kept going on and off. And I knew the Lord loved me. It was a beautiful thing. And then I started learning about the Lord and his love. And I learned that we'd been lied to. This world's a beautiful place. And most of the suffering isn't even caused by this world. It's caused by these evil demons that aren't gods at all. Why does the Lord allow them to stay here? To torture us? Because we have to realize that we're stronger than they are. They're just demons, but we're deities. And in the name of Christ, we have authority over them, and we just have to realize that. And remember, we don't really die. The Lord will never lose any of us. We're his children. But we came here, we made the decision to come here to learn by the things that we suffer so that we could attain into much higher glories. And I, for one, am completely glad I did it. I don't know if I remember all the pain, but I remember a lot of it. It was darn sure worth it. Just to be here and to see that beautiful creature. And to see these beautiful trees. I would suffer 1,000,000 times over just for a moment of feeling this glory. And for that one ultimate goal, which is to attain unto my eternal soulmate and become one again with her, then I will be completely one and happy and full of joy. I don't know that I will ever be able to contain that joy. In this mortal flesh. You okay, honey? Worlds without end. You know what that word, you know, it really means ages without end, aeons. And it's true, the aeons are worlds. Because that's what a world is. The world, this is the earth. But a world is the entire system. You know, the solar earth system includes all the governments and principalities and powers. And this world is passing away. As well as the age that ruled over it. The time and the seasons that are appointed, they have passed, and moving on to another appointed meeting with the Lord. And each one is more glorious. You know, this is not caused from water erosion, because I don't think water did that unless it was, you know, somewhere else at the time. It could just be the holes of, you know, inside the ground and heat, volcanic activity that made that, or maybe I guess it could have been, you know, sedimentary at the bottom of a lake or something, and it had different chemicals that made up certain parts of the rock that are softer and wore away. That's probably what it is. Well, I'll go up to the top of the hill here and see if there's a better view. I'll probably head back. Found some water. You silly. It feels good, doesn't it? I have to get out and walk at least 2-3 times a week, you know, because it's just, you know, at least on the weekends or something, you know, if you take a person has to take a day off. You know, I guess even Yahweh's laws are practical. You take a day off once in a while, but I just don't like the first part of that law. 6 days shall you be a slave. Yeah, I'd rather just walk and enjoy myself every day. Really, and there's plenty to eat. I think the one who made all of the beautiful trees and the fruit with the seed therein, I think, provided for us. I don't think we're supposed to be slaves, tilling the soil. I think agriculture's ruined humanity. It's just a way to monopolize on the food. And what they've done, I was just thinking about this. I was looking at the vegetation, and since I've been walking up this hill, I have seen, well, walnuts and hickory nuts and berries and other kinds of fruits and berries that I don't even know what they are. And you think, well, I can't eat that because it's probably poison. Well, they've convinced us of that. What did the native peoples eat? They ate the acorns that most people today think they're bitter and you can't eat them, but they ate them. And they ate the wild asparagus and wild onions, and the wild onions and the wild asparagus is much better for you than the stuff you buy at the store, and it tastes better, and it's free, and you don't have to plant and harvest. You just reach out and eat it. It grows by itself. You might have to bring in a little bit for the winter, but then again, I don't even know if winter was part of the plan. Maybe when the earth was a paradise, when we had vegetation, more ozone, you know, CO2 or whatever it is that plants do, more buffalo, makes the earth a greenhouse, and that causes the trees to grow bigger, taller, and produce more oxygen levels. I think that's why Adam and those guys before the flood lived 1,000 years. Because I think we could live longer in a better environment. Okay, here's the end of the line. Somebody's marked it off with red paint. Oh, maybe not. Goes that way. Well, one thing about it here that I kind of like better than Idaho, when you climb mountains in Idaho, yeah, it's tough. It's steep and way up there, like 10,000 feet, you know. Down here, it's just a couple of thousand feet, you know, and it's a lot less steep. But you still get a nice view when you get up here and look. It's still nice. The only thing you're missing here is the snow-capped mountains, really. And it's a little hot, a little hotter. But I don't think I want to go down that hill because then I'd have to climb back out. So we'll just take a little look-see down here and see what we're missing by not going, and then we'll go back. We'll head back. Love those kind of trees. And that's full of pine nuts, of course, but we just let them rot, let the birds eat them. Plenty for everyone, but we just, most people probably even never had a pine nut before. Delicious. Absolutely nice. How would you pick all those, how would you get them? Well, you go to out in the desert, they have these little pinyon trees, which just means pine in Spanish. And they're like little short pinyon trees. That's what they call them, pinyon. Anyway, you put a tarp around the tree and then you shake the tree, and all the little, certain time of year when they're ready to come out of the cone, they just fall onto the, you know, pounds of them fall onto the tarp, and they gather them and get about $15-20 a little bag of seeds, you know, instead of, well, I mean, pecans are like $10 a bag now for 16 ounces. So you could probably get about $30. I don't know what they're going for, maybe 50 for pine nuts now. Sounds like a lot of, but they're delicious, really are. I love coconut. Best thing in the world if you want a snack that's healthy is go get you some coconut, fresh coconut. Mix it with either peanut butter or, you know, like you can put dates in there and put it in a blender. Oatmeal, raw oats. There's lots of different things, you know, chopped up ground nuts. But you can make that into a little bar, and it's perfectly healthy, and it's delicious. And if you really want a treat, you can, you know, pour chocolate over it and let it, and put it in the refrigerator, and you've got a chocolate bar. And they're healthy. You use good dark chocolate with, it's got, you know, very little sugar in it. A little sugar, if it's real sugar, won't hurt you at all. It's all this fructose corn, high fructose corn syrup that's in everything. And the reason they put it in everything is they knew that it was poison. It wasn't meant to be sugar, it's corn. And not only that, the corn is genetically modified with pesticides, so that high fructose corn syrup ruins your liver, which is the central organ of the body that keeps you alive. Once the liver goes, everything else in the body dies. And that is the actual problem that 99% of people in this world have, no matter whether it's heart troubles or cancer, diabetes, or anything else. It's their liver that isn't working. And if your pancreas isn't working, it's because your liver's not working. If your kidneys aren't working, it's because your liver's not working. If your heart's not working, it's because your liver's not working. If your skin's not right, or your hair's falling out, or your thyroid, right, anything. I mean, aside from the fact you may not have enough nutrients in your body, but even if you had a bad liver and you tried to feed yourself with right nutrients, it's a catch-22. You'd never be able to heal your body because your liver's not functioning. There's a simple trick, guys. It's called bile salts. And you can't just get any bile salts because they don't want you to have the real stuff that'll actually heal you. So they just put a couple, ingredients into some bottles and call it bile salts. But you go online and you look up Dr. Berg, and he's got a gallbladder formula, it's called. That's where the gallbladder is what stores all the bile salts. And so if you don't have a gallbladder, you really need this stuff for sure. But anybody who's got bad liver, been drinking, or is overweight, has excessive fat around the liver, fatty liver, then you are actually, your body's filling up with fungus, candidus, you're probably getting diabetes or pre-diabetes if nothing else, and you're getting, cancer, you're getting heart disease, all this, but you don't realize it. Within 5-10 years you'll be gone, unless you can fix that liver. So take those bile salts. What the liver produces is bile, and the bile is like detergent. It cleans the whole body, and it provides everything. It provides the body with the bile so that it can turn fats into hormones and proteins into, everything the body needs. So the liver gets plugged up and the whole body's plugged up with all this plaque and stuff, and it just, it doesn't have that lubricant, and it can't digest the food because you don't have the stomach acid. So he puts out a product that's got HCl, hydrochloric acid, which is stomach acid. That itself would probably heal most people, just buying betaine hydrochloric acid, because you're basically putting stomach acid into your stomach that you don't have. You have the wrong kind of acid, so you're getting indigestion. You put that in your body, and that alone will help you. I mean, it will heal you quickly. But on top of that, he adds these bile salts. They are very small little minerals, salts, that you must have in order to live. You need the whole chain of trace minerals. And these certain kinds of minerals that are part of your gut, if you don't have them, you're going to die. So whatever disease you have, you start taking these things and you'll start detoxing within a few weeks. Within 6 months, you'll be well. So look it up online. It's Dr. Berg. And get his gallbladder formula. It's about $45, $50, but you can get it on sale sometimes. But get that, guys. It'll last you a month. If you're real bad off and you take 4 a day, it might, you know, it might only last you 20, 30 days, but 20 days probably, but it's worth it. $50 a month to change your health into perfect health. Because once you start giving your body the bile salts, because your liver can't do it, it heals the liver as well. Gives the liver a chance to relax and heal, and it puts that detergent in there and cleans it out and starts working again. Yeah, I did try it, guys, and it does work, and it'll just turn you into a young child again. Possibly even regrow hair and reverse aging and everything else, because that's all that your body needs is to be clean, and it'll function and continue to work. Well, yeah, I'm heading back. I haven't seen any deer or anything, just tracks. But it's getting pretty hot, so yeah, I'll head back to the truck. I wanted to work on my truck today, but it was Sunday, and I went down to this little town, don't even have anything open. I needed to get a jack because I had to get under my car, my truck. I'm gonna take a look at it and clean it up and sell that truck because it just takes too much gas. And you know, I wasn't happy with the truck to start with. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing where I, you know, got it, and it only has the one seat in the front, and I need more seating for my dogs and stuff. So I'll probably just get a car or like a SUV or something. I don't know. We'll see. But over the next week or two, I'm going to be selling that truck and getting something else, and I'm probably leaving Alabama. I'm definitely leaving Alabama. I'm going to look at South Carolina, and hopefully we'll all be going to Michigan here this summer. And hopefully we'll be shaking hands with the Lord soon. This old wicked world will abruptly end. Now, see, if this became a desert, it was just all dried up and stopped raining, and it became a desert, then the rains would come and wash all the dirt away, and you'd have these canyons and rocks and features like you do Utah. I suspect Utah at one time had all these trees. You know, if you go to Arizona, out in the middle of a desert, nothing but just sand. But they have these rocks. And there's fossils of huge redwoods laying on the ground that have turned into stone. So there used to be redwood forest, you know, in the desert of Arizona. So yeah, climates change. And I don't know if the more and more of the earth is becoming a desert. Probably. Like I said, it used to be probably tropical. We had these larger animals that they call dinosaurs, which I just think were, because we don't know if they had, you know, lizard-like hide. They call them dinosaurs, make them look like lizards. I think they might have been more like birds, some people say, like ostriches. Some of them were like giraffes. No, the mammoth is just an elephant. So most of these animals that they find, some of them, it was a hoax. Like they'll find a fish, a long fish skeleton, and they'll say it's some sort of mammal or something. They've lied about a lot of these things. But the ones that they do find mammoths and stuff. I think they're just animals that kind of we have already, but certain larger ones that you kind of, over the thousands of years, they've become smaller versions. Just like we've got the pig over here in America, but in Africa they're elephants. They're related, very closely related. Big ears and the little snout. But there's small versions of them. Ah, beautiful, huh? Wow. That's gorgeous. But like I say, it would look better without all this trees knocked over and stuff because of their logging efforts. They're raping the earth is what they're doing. And the reason, and they say, well, it's overpopulation. It's not our fault. We need resources. No. This goes back to what we were saying. Agriculture, that's not the natural way to live. And what it did was they herded everybody into little cities, and they started building these sky rises, and they caused the overpopulation with their greed, selling us stuff that we didn't need, and training us like little monkeys to just go along with it. They destroyed the world. Mr. Bill Gates destroyed the world. And guys, if you think Trump is a good guy, look, he's probably just some guy. Who knows? He may not be evil. I don't know. He may be. I wouldn't doubt if he is, but I'm saying he might not be. I don't know him, and I'm not going to judge him. But he's a billionaire, and so his life is his dreams and hopes for this world is to continue on with this raping of the world. That's not what we're going to do, friends. Not at this juncture. At this point, we are now going to take this, and it's going to be transformed into a paradise. And that means all of these machines, the cities, and the overpopulation is going to end. The earth will support lots of people, but not in a high rise in the slum or something, drinking sewer water out of the tap. As long as we put bleach in the water, that's not going to get it. All right? That's dumbing people down to a point that our Father in heaven will not allow that. Will not allow that now. It may have served some kind of, there's, we go for millions of years without this kind of crap. And I suppose ever so often things have to balance out. And there has to be a change. There has to be a death in order to be reborn. But I don't think death was supposed to be so fearful. The natives, they used to prepare their people for death. They taught them what life was about. It was about life and death and rebirth. And they taught them that it was part of life and not to be afraid of death. They taught them they'd go on to the next world. But we're not taught that. We teach our children in school, there is no God. There's no heaven. This is it. That's all there is, biology. And the only way we can live is by supporting your local candidate for president and giving up all your rights and freedoms because of the neighbors, and on and on and on, and raping the earth, and go out and get yours, it's on sale, and see how much you can make off of it. And it's got to end. And it will end, and Donald Trump is not the savior. If anything, he's the Antichrist. And that's just the whole truth, the cold, hard fact that most people don't want to receive. They say that we're incredulous because we believe in a higher power. They say we're ignorant because we believe in love. They say we're childish for believing in something we can't see. But I think it's the opposite. I think that individuals who don't believe in the divine Father and Mother and eternal life and the purpose for our lives. And they don't believe in love, but just luxury and you know, doing it to the other guy and getting rich and you know, just sit around all day thinking that life's wonderful if you can play Call of Duty and pornography. And that's their life. They've devolved into some atrophied corpse laying on a couch waiting to die. They're getting lots of pleasure, but they're so miserable in their heart, and yet they can't let go of the cookie to get it out of the jar. Those are the ones that you need to pity. But again, we don't judge anyone because any particular person. I only judge that drinking poison is not a good idea, and I wouldn't do it. And for those who think drinking poison is a good idea, I recommend you don't do it. I think it's stupid. I'll say it right like it is. It's stupid. You're an imbecile if you take poison and drink it. If you eat this food at McDonald's and at the store, and you don't eat the natural food that our Heavenly Father provided for us, then you're an imbecile. And we're all imbeciles because we've allowed this. We're in prison now. We got to eat the slop that they put under the door. You know, it's kind of like that now. It's got down to that point. It's like it's very difficult to get away from the jailer and break free and go out into the woods and find, you know, build you a cabin. They'll come along and burn it down and take you to a FEMA camp. I mean, it's the point now where they've usurped mankind's divine authority and they've got to go now. We're going to have to put our foot down at this point and say no. But most of you guys won't do it. This is the problem. It's not the Antichrist. It's you, weak, silly, helpless little creatures that don't have enough common sense to know what is good and what is bad. You don't know the difference between good and evil. You can't make it out. You're not like God at all. But you're nothing more than a brute beast, an animal that's rolling like a pig that's rolling in his own vomit. And you know, I'm sure the pig would not understand. You know, you give him the pearl and he would just rend it from you and trample it under his feet in the mud because he doesn't know what a pearl is, and most of these people don't know what life is. They just don't know. They have no clue what life is, how precious it is, and how amazing it is. That they're willing to accept a moment of pleasure and then a lifetime of misery and then death, just because they don't want to say anything. Get in line, stand up, salute at the execution range. Don't say anything. Fall in line. Just do whatever you're told. Act like everybody else. You're lucky you get this slop. Hey, we gave you a cement slab to sleep on. What do you want? A 6x9 little apartment. And a stove to cook your top ramen noodles on that will kill you within a few months. Hey, what do you want? There's a McDonald's across the street. You can go over there and get you a nice little plastic burger for 99 cents. I think it's more than that now. It's probably like $2 now for a dang burger that will kill you. You know, there's only about, I think it's, trying to get the correct figure. I think it's 13%. It's give or take right in that area, right around 13. Could have been 18%, could have been 14, I don't remember, but it was right around that percentage of the burger is actual meat. Now the rest of the burger is glue and other parts that's not meat. And when we say meat, the part that is meat, that means it's bone and cartilage and sinew and hide and everything ground up, and they put glue in it. And then the rest of it, so it's a fake meat product is what you're getting at McDonald's. It's fake meat, and some people say it may even be, yeah. Mr. Finkelstein says that they're feeding us human, yeah, okay, I don't want to say. But, you know, I don't know, but I do know that I'm not going to eat there anymore. Not even just, you know, last year I did eat there a few times. Just because like, well, one every couple months isn't going to hurt you. But you know what? I'm not going to ever eat them again. Last time I had a meal like that, it made me sick. And when I really found out what they're doing, I just decided that's it. I'm done. So beautiful. Nice walk. Beautiful walk. Just the right up and down to give you some good exercise, you know. Not too bad. What are you doing up there? They got so much energy, I tell you what. We humans, I ain't gonna run up there and run back in the next 3 seconds, man. They're just something else. If I could be a dog and still have my brain and talk and everything, I might try that. That would be neat. I bet it's fun running around like a dog, jumping over canyons and drinking out of mud puddles, and you know, I mean, they're not scared of anything. They'll wrestle a rattlesnake. Oh, it's trash. Out here in nature, they just leave it there to rot. It's all right, I guess, but you know, probably some company came in here and raped and tortured it, and but I'm sure they didn't cut all this down so they could build a house. They just cut it down, let it lie. I don't know why. Makes you stronger though when you do these long walks. Yeah, at the beginning of the walk you're like, tired, you know. About halfway through you're like, this is great. You get your second wind and it's nothing. Little butterflies. That little dog, she's got really short legs. Ain't more than 6 inches. 6 or 8 inches there, and she's just running all over the place. Got all the energy in the world. And she lives on poop. Dog food and poop. She loves poop. She loves that. She eats it all the time. I think it's because I really think that, you know, people, oh, there's a deer. I don't know where the deer is. Oh, there it is. It went out of my camera view and I couldn't see it, so I don't know if I got it in the camera. But yeah, there are deer. Did I come that way? I hope I don't get lost. I wouldn't get lost, you know, but I just got to go down that way to get to the truck. But I don't remember if I came this way. I have to be, I guess. I don't think I didn't come from that direction. Unless I already passed the road that I went on, but I don't think so. Probably it. Ah. Look at that. Talk about the coal mines of Kentucky. From the coal mines of Kentucky to the California sun, Bobby shared the secrets of my soul. Standing right beside me, Lord, through everything I'd done. And in the night she kept me from the cold. It looks like obsidian or something, you know. Probably obsidian. I thought it was like coal. I'm beginning to think maybe coal and obsidian are almost the same thing. Because I've seen that around here. And I know I've heard of the coal mines of Kentucky, and I guess I'm not that far. We're in the same mountain range. So it's not coal, like I said, but it looks like coal. So I wonder if coal is found in nearby with obsidian or something. Well, you see those green trees coming on over there. You know, all the leaves coming up. This is beautiful. With those windshield wipers slapping time, Bobby clapping hands with mine. Tell me that's not a big pile of poo. What is that? Ew! That's some kind of poo? It didn't look like it. It looked like a stick. Oh, man. I really thought that was a stick. See, here's more of that black rock. It's laying everywhere. Wow, it is everywhere. Maybe it's just like lava. And the obsidian is kind of like glass, so maybe it has to do with lava. But this doesn't look like lava. It looks like sedimentary, so I don't know. Oh, there's an old shed right there. Or something. What's that? Oh boy. Yeah. What the heck is that? Probably a deer stand. What a place to put a deer stand. I don't know if this is the road I came up on, for sure. Yeah, it is, because I stopped right there by that tree. Yeah, we're almost back to the truck. Alright. Well, I guess this is goodbye for today. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Go out and get you a nice, you know, this weekend. So go out and walk and bring some water with you. I didn't, and I should. I should always bring some water with me. But I didn't plan on going too far. But I've done that my whole life. I never prepared for anything. But should always be prepared, guys. And don't take apples. They make you thirsty. You're out in the middle of nowhere and all you got's an apple. I did that one time. You bite into that apple and afterwards you're so thirsty you can't stand it. It's like, you know, it's just like you gotta have some water. So just take a bottle of water and granola bar or something. In case you need something, you get stuck in there, you need something to eat that night or something. Pack you a little lunch. Go on a walk. Uh-oh, here comes another airplane. Hope it's not a B-2 bomber. I don't even know where it is. I lost. Oh, there it is. Huh.